Hey, Shalom, all giving all praise unto Yabashi, Mashabashi, Makwa, Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone, and honors to brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity for the four corners of the earth. I'm the brother, everybody are coming out here to give you this truth for the grace and mercy of Yahabashi, Mashai, Bashi, Makwa, Kodash. It's going to be a relatively quick video based on this post I just posted a couple of minutes ago. And this is what's happening out here within the UK. You've had a new so-called government forced into it because they had a vote of no confidence in Boris Johnson. So Boris Johnson came out of the office, Liz Truss came in, new finance guy came in, which was the finance minister, was it the head finance guy, finance secretary, right? This Jake dude, cool, nice Jake from Ghana. Guy's cooning, but he's all part of the insiders, right? He's a lower level actor, and his instructions was basically to be the face guy of destroying the UK economy. So the UK economy right now is it's in shambles, and the Bank of England, the privately owned bank by way of the elite banking families, is so-called trying to cool off the market by buying up bonds. Now this is where the technical side of things is like this stuff is a bit difficult to understand, but pretty much what you've seen is the government's loaning out the debt that they've borrowed for the future, and then they're gonna pay it back with interest, something convoluted like that. So they'll borrow way into the future, but then you can buy that up as bonds, and then you can sell that, and then somehow that affects the pension fund, because the pension pot is also something that's gets traded and sold and whatever. Man, I listened to it and I listened to it over again, and I get it when they explain it on the videos. But to try to re-explain it again for me is convoluted. And it goes back to what Henry Ford said. If these people understood how this market worked, they'll revolt. And they would revolt, because you're taking the people's money, you're flipping it, and you flip it again, and you flip it again, and you flip it again, and you flip it again. Like most of the stuff that gets traded in this society is debt. That's what they know as securities, and it's not a security. It's a security because somebody's gonna pay a mortgage, and that mortgage is then that loan is then like sold to somebody else, and it's crazy. This market's crazy. Anyways, let's not get sidetracked too much. So he released a so-called mini budget, and anybody with any kind of economic sense, when they break it down to you what this guy was proposing to do, it didn't make any sense. The same thing when Boris Johnson was in office. All of these so-called proposals didn't make sense. Locking down on the economy for a common cold, all of this stuff, it didn't make sense. But it all fitted the narrative, which is the 2030 agenda, 2030, the slimming down of a global supply. You being at home, not working, but supposedly being happy about it. I mean, it's all linked up, right? So this guy comes into office now, or furthermore, this woman comes into office. She brings our guy Kwarteng, the economics guy, the economics secretary, and within a couple of days, a couple of weeks, the economy is totally flatlining, right? So this is where this first post comes into play. It says the UK turmoil is a harbinger of global events to come. And when we look at this word harbinger, again, it's on the post that I just posted out there, a personal thing that announces the signal of approach of another thing. So this is the beginning of what? Economic turmoil. Okay, economic turmoil. But what did we see when we had the so-called crisis the last time round? They created a problem, the people panicked, and then you had a solution come in. So remember, this is a self-inflicted problem. That's why I posted it. Self-inflicted problem. Right? The reaction is going to be what? We got to bring in the CHIP. We got to bring in they might slowly do it with the digital currencies first, and then everybody gets digital currencies first, and then businesses are still going under, or whatever the situation might be, and then they'll say, okay, we got to ration the food. Or my mind says probably the economy is going to crash, or they're going to come in with the CBDCs, and then the food crisis is going to be the next crisis, because we've had crisis after crisis after crisis, right? So, I don't know the timelines. I'm just speaking as a man. This is not exactly how it's going to happen. I don't know, right? But I'm thinking, okay, financial crisis, all right, sort that out with the so-called CBDCs. This is what they're suggesting right here. But then you're gonna have the food crisis. The food crisis is gonna be solved by way of the what? The CHIP, which is gonna be the culmination of every single thing that's been on the board for the last sort of 3 years. So the digital passports that you had, that's going to come back onto the table, and they say, okay, this is going to be linked up. Well, this is all things in people's recent memory, so it's going to be very easy for them to link it all up together, right? The economic crisis is going to bring the digital chips, but here's your little £2,000 to stay at home, but you can only buy this 2,000. You can only spend the £2,000 on X, Y, and Z. Oh, you reach your quota, you reach your ration on on rice for the month. This is what the CBDCs are going to allow them to do. So that's just me thinking as a man. But you can clearly see from this statement here, and this ain't conspiracy now. All right, what are these guys saying out there within the IUIC? This ain't a conspiracy anymore, right? Britain's financial services minister has said a delay in using a digital pound would create economic financial problems. So they already put we have to understand about the UK Telegraph, okay, major platform, and Financial Times. These are major platforms. So there's a narrative out there that global turmoil is coming, okay, and something needs to be done about it. Well, why don't we just move to the digital system? Why don't we just bring the digital pound? Okay, and this is the so-called perfect time for it here within the UK, because we just had a change of monarchy, right? A change of monarchs, rather, more not monarchy, but rather more of a monarch, and they're supposedly going to be printing out more money with his face on it in a couple of months time. I don't think we've got months. I personally I'm the way I'm moving right now, what I'm seeing, how I'm feeling as I'm moving around right now. I'm like a deer in headlights. I'm like, yo, oh, okay, another place is crashed. The pound's gone down again. The dollar is weakening other people's economy because the dollar's getting stronger. The gas price is gonna go up. Mortgage rates is gonna go up. That's how I am at the minute. I'm like just clicking. Everything's just clicking. I'm just looking around. I'm like, yo, wow. Okay, like the elder says here, spooky times, right? So you can clearly see here from these articles, man. Yeah, they're about to make a move. Okay, they're about to make a move. So it's exciting times, right? You're gonna have to give up some comforts, but we give up those comforts for a seat on the chariot, which is what this is all about. So hopefully that was a verification with that. I'm gonna say, "Oh, praise unto Yahweh, Shema Shai, Bashim, Kwa, Kodash, double honors unto the apostles or great millstone, and honest your brothers to be pushing this truth in sincerity." Shalom.